Blackheart's Bay, game number 1. Guys, but the semifinal, the Water Dragons are going up against the Royals. Blackheart's Bay is our first map, and this is still heroeslaunch.gg. So we are looking at the amateur scene right now, okay? So this is not like pro level or anything. A lot of the guys are diamond, they're masters, they're a little bit lower. If you want to participate in something like this yourself in either one of their tournaments or in their league, which is starting to a new season very soon, you can do that either as an individual player or as a team. It doesn't really matter. Even if you want to play in a team, you are matched with others that are on your skill level, and then you can participate in that. Also, it doesn't matter how good you are, since there's several divisions. So yeah, definitely check it out. heroeslaunch.gg. Great thing for the grassroots scene, Heroes of the Storm. In this game now, on the other hand, we are currently in the semi-final of that tournament. We have Water Dragons going up against the Royals and a Zul'Ban on Blackheart's Bay to kind of deny the rotation between the mid and the top lane that we oftentimes see to get a bit of an advantage when it comes down to the experience. And of course, Zagara is, even though she got nerfed in the last patch, still banned out by the Water Dragons because they are saying, hey, bot lane Zagara, nah, thank you very much. We can't deal without that. It's just a little bit too strong what she can still bring to the table when it comes to lane push. We have seen a couple of crazy comps already, and again I want to stress that this is amateur level, so some of those drafts will definitely not resemble the pro scene, since of course also hero pools are going to become an issue here. The Royals, they're still starting things off with the Sylvanas, which first of all can of course help to just like snowball this a little bit. The more structures you take down with your team, with your heroes, the more effective your turn-ins and those cannonball barrages are going to become for you then later on. And the Water Dragons, as they did in one of the previous games, are once again drafting the Kerrigan. Kerrigan and Oriel right off the bat. Okay, that means no cleanse, okay? So in this case, they already let the cleanse go, but Kerrigan has decent wave clear with her sweep, and they also have the Kerrigan right now where they can just like start to jump in and take a few of these boys down. The Royals might be well advised to either ban or take ETC, since that Kerrigan and ETC combination has been something that we've seen a little bit today already as is. And they're drafting an early Tyrael. And Tyrael is of course a pretty fantastic hero when you're going up against a Kerrigan, since Kerrigan is someone who likes to engage into you and tries to get that stun lock, but Kerrigan, Tyrael is the perfect counter against this. Manly Gugu, thank you very much for the resub, 14 months and going, cheers bro, it's appreciated. And there is a Sonya now. Okay, so Sonya with a bit of pressure against Kerrigan. But why do you draft a Sonya on Blackheart's Bay? Blackheart's Bay is a map where Thrall, Sonya, and also Illidan, for example, are absolutely spectacular, since you don't really have to fight against your opponent here. You can really just like play around them by getting camps and then turning in. And that's something that Sonya, of course, excels at. She can take a lot of these camps solo, and that means that she's going to be very strong when you're trying to just play a bit of PvE mode on the map. The bans, on the other hand, personally, I would still expect a ban on ETC. We have the Water Dragons with a Morales ban. All right, so Morales is banned out. That leaves Rhaegar, which I find surprising that you would let the Rhaegar through here. I mean, Rhaegar is not automatically an must pick, but Sonya with Rhaegar, that Lightning Shield, that is pretty strong. And then you also have the Ancestral to help her out at the front line. I actually think that would be very cool. And there's the ETC ban, so that doesn't really surprise. Water Dragons will have to just adjust their front line a little bit. I personally can see a Muradin. We have seen a lot of Kerrigan teams going away from a Muradin after ETC was taken away from them. There's still a couple of options like a Johanna. I mean, Johanna has more or less now baseline Knight takes pawn. That helps her to be a bit more effective as a solo frontliner, since she can easily go into block. Or, if the situation demands it, Regeneration Master. So that helps as well. But yeah, let's see how they are actually going to run this. They also need a range damage dealer. And they go into a Tychus. I could have seen a lot of heroes here for the range damage. I still expect to see overall a lot more Vala play these days, since that multi-shot build is so strong and can really do a whole lot of work. Right now, Li Ming would have been open as well if you're trying to go into a mage instead. Tychus in this setup, of course, is mostly a tank killer. He thrives on heroes that have high hit point pools. And so far, the Royals don't have that. They are lacking a little bit of wave clear. I mean, don't get me wrong, Oriel has a bit of wave clear like a lot of these heroes have, but they don't really have that massive like push like a Sylvanas. With Falstad, the situation changes, since, of course, the Boomerang is going to be able to push these waves back a little bit more often. So right now we have Jaina for the Royals, and that is already a fair amount of damage if they lock her down on point. Like, you can actually do a whole lot with that. Doom Socks, thank you for the resub. The Doom Socks. I need to get myself a pair of those. But Jaina is actually like, the slows are pretty great that she can get. There's also, of course, that Blizzard. If you have, this is actually like a really interesting setup for them right now. I wonder if they would consider going into a leap with Sonya here. I highly doubt it, since you really want to have Wrath of the Berserker if you're playing a setup with Tyrael. But it would, of course, be a bit of a dream going into like something like a leap into Ring of Frost. But this is more and more looking like we're just going to have that front line and Jaina just trying to drop those Blizzards and also attempting to zone that backline with it a bit. Brightwing for the heals over the Rhaegar. Not 100% certain if I agree with that when it comes to the healing power, but if you think about Kerrigan jumping in, then Brightwing can definitely do a whole lot. Oh wow, a Leoric single frontline. Now the Water Dragons have been playing some really fantastic games here today already, but this setup that they're running here, I'm not really convinced. I have to admit that they played really well in the last game that we casted. I'm not quite sure how strong the Royals are, but the draft that the Water Dragons have here doesn't really convince me just yet. I mean, they have the combo on the other hand with the Leoric Entomb plus Falstad Mighty Gust, so that can help. If they get someone like Jaina into that, that would be great for them. But this is going to be really an interesting game for sure. I mean, there's of course a tendency for the Water Dragons to go into team fights, whereas the Royals have the opportunity, more so than the Water Dragons, I feel, to play around the opponent, especially with the Brightwing having the global presence. Falstad has that, of course, as well. It's going to be an interesting one. Game number 1, Blackheart's Bay, always an interesting map as is. So the first game between the Water Dragons and the Royals. Yes, Heroes launch.gg. Alright everybody, game number 1, we have the Water Dragons going up against the Royals. And to the left side we have Kerrigan played again by Pumax, Rabata on Leoric for the Water Dragons here. Octani this time on Tychus, not on Gaslow. Nemo Hostum on Falstad, and Swagmaster69 is playing Oriel. To the red side of the map, the Royals are playing right now with Eduard on Sonya, Adiesta on Sylvanas, Andresh on Brightwing, Haft on Jaina, and Yayak on Tyrael. So once again, quick reminder, this is actually heroeslaunch.gg. You can check out the website of the amateur tournament and also like the amateur league that they are running here. A lot of these players are roughly diamond to grandmaster level, depending on who you're looking at. So it's basically all over the place. But if you are lower than that, you can also participate in the league itself. There's a new season that's starting soon, and even as an individual player, you can participate here. You don't necessarily have to be a full team. You will be matched with other players that are roughly on your skill level. So in this case, we actually have already a push at the top lane with Sylvanas. They were moving into the middle. You can see that the blue team was moving mid lane, roughly towards the chest, because they were not quite sure where the push would be happening. But up at the top lane, value already got. Tyrael is down though, so they basically traded a tower for a kill. A trade in favor of the red team in this case. And by the way, Sonya so far took down the bot lane. Falstad flies in to secure the experience, but that pushes him back and means that we are going to see most of that chest already taken by the time that he comes in to help out there. So the chest at the top lane went to the blue team. Leoric is down already. We've been talking about him maybe being a bit of a liability here in the long run. But there's all of the coins now taken. Kerrigan though, nice dodge on the stun, but the second one hits, and that's the coins now taken by the blue team. They get 2 kills against 1, they get the third one as now Tyrael dies. Great play, that Kerrigan once again on fire. Talking about the talents that we have on level 1, we have Paralysis taken for Sylvanas. We're seeing again the Blade Torrent, which gives Neons the extra damage on Kerrigan for Impaling Blades. Leoric went into reanimation. We're not seeing him with a complete focus on Drain Hope here. And we have again the dash for Tychus. And Tychus already at the bot lane trying to put some extra pressure in. We're seeing, 3 men actually, like a 4th now that Kerrigan jumps in again. Kerrigan could get the combo off and fails to do so, and Sonya escapes. Kerrigan herself overextending a bit too much. She's now already eliminated. This is off to a pretty fancy start here. I'm liking it. We're having on level 4 now the Wither Wind taken for the increased Withering Fire range. So Sylvanas is now in a position where she can stay a little bit farther behind and see how that goes for her. Brightwing, by the way, with a Hyper Shift, going straight into the Manic Pixie at this point. And yeah, I'm personally actually very interested to see how that Leoric is going to fare in the later stage of the game. Right now, one of the things that they're basically doing with him is they keep him at the top lane to rotate between top and mid and soak the experience. This allows Kerrigan a little bit more freedom on the map, and she can just roam and see if she can get killed somewhere. But already we have Fawcett under pressure. And, yep, Sylvanas gets away. Tyrael is also attempting to escape. Good dodge on the stun, by the way, by him. But Sonya is doing what she does best. She's getting camps now. And this is actually a smart move on the side of the Royals. They're not really reacting too much to the pressure that we see with Karrigan on the map. They're just soaking the top and the mid with Jaina alone. As long as she's safe, as long as she's careful, she should be not falling victim to any of these attacks. But still, Sonya taking coins on the map. Sonya is still being careful. As I say, she's a little bit too far out. There's the combo, not hitting her. Yeah, Grenade is only pushing her behind the gate, so there was not really a lot of value. But that means that Sylvanas gets some value out of her trade at the bot lane, where they are pushing in with Brightwing and also a camp. We need to retreat, though, because the rotation is already underway, and that is once again going to be the end of Tyrael. Tyrael is now dying for the third time already as is. Again, the dodge against the combo. Well played so far. But Tyrael has to be a bit careful here. 4 heroes again at the bot lane. And still the rotation at the top with Leoric and Jaina basically dancing that little dance. And Jaina went into the Arcane Intellect with a Lingering Chill. Not going into that shotgun build. In the machine gun build that we actually seen a bit earlier already in use. Hammer gains, the Majestic Span, also Quest Talent with increased clarity on the side of Oriel, not going into the Swift Sweep, which allows her to get that thing in a little bit faster. And the first barrage actually against the red team, but no value in the mid lane. Look at this. All of the structures were nearly still at full HP. They're trying to burst it down now. It might just be enough, but the big problem that you have, nope, shouldn't be, that Forge should survive. The idea always is that you damage those gates a bit earlier before you actually get your turning completed, and then the fort will fall completely. This way, it could still be remaining 3 shots, gonna be close. Now they're gonna get it. They're just gonna get it thanks to that push at the front line. If you don't do any damage at all, the fort survives, and then the opponent has to dive deep to take it down, or they have to sacrifice a couple of cannonballs with the next barrage. So they went in for it and are able to get that. 8 versus 7 right now in talents, and we're having at this point the barb shot taken. We're also seeing now the Relentless Soldier after In the Rhythm. Not going for the bigger they are or anything like that, since Tychus at this point of course has also realized that there's no real like heavy hit point tanks against him where he can really go for the percentage damage. Yeah, Leoric on the other hand up to the top lane needs to be a bit careful because Jaina is definitely packing a punch. Karrigan is dead, and that's the perfect timing. Tyrael again trying to get some use out of his trade. Don't we all love this when you have a Tyrael in Hero League that immediately dies at the beginning of the game because he face checks every bush against 3 and then claims that he's just getting value out of his trade. And you don't know if you should laugh or just facepalm and quit and rage quit the game immediately. Those are the times. Tyrael in this case survives though. And they got the kill against Karrigan, which was actually an important one. So now they get the coins at the bot lane, and they're going to get the coins up here at the top too. So that's a lot of coins in the hands of the red team. The only problem with that is coins that you hold don't really do anything for you. You can still lose that stuff. But they have now the initiative on the map, and they're already starting to be a little bit careful with how they are running this. They would, of course, ideally get into level 10 first, but now look at Sonya. If Sonya is getting jumped there, that could be a problem. Leoric is there too, there's no Tendo, and Sonya is able to escape. But those are the scary moments, when you have an 11 coin Sonya just trying to get away there, and you are like, oh my god, if she dies, then we are screwed. Not happening in this case, though. So level 10s are now being dropped, and well, with level 10 on the board, we are now seeing that Entomb, and of course we're going to see the Mighty Gust. So that's the moment when you have Mighty Gust plus Entomb, and you're really just trying to entomb a target and then gust the rest of the team away so that you have a secure kill. If you're going into the Dragon Laser Drill without it too, then you have a bit of zoning opportunities as well. So both of those teams are now trying to find that synergy with their rogue abilities, especially since the red team has now also secured level 10. Sonya still playing this a bit passive, but she is doing that PvE style that we've been talking about earlier, just trying to get camps. And she went for Leap! She actually went for Leap. I mentioned it during the draft, didn't really think they would go for it, but they go for the aggressive move here, playing Leap together with the Ring of Frost, Brightwing even with the disengage with the Emerald Wind, not going Blink Heal. So after Karrigan jumps in, disengaged can be used, and is going to be a big part of it. Once more, we're having Tyrael trying to escape here. Good jumps from him, but now he's slowed down, and that is a problem, and that might be the end of him. uses the Sanct. Here comes the Ring of Frost. Doesn't hit anything though, and Kerrigan is pushed back by Brightwing using the Emerald Wind. Wasted the ult before that, has no blink heal, and that means the Entomb is the end of her. Great play. Yaya trying to get a coin, but that only results in him dying too. So that is 2 kills, 2 more kills in favor of the blue team, in favor of the Water Dragons. The Royals, on the other hand, finally able to turn in, and they are getting that barrage into that mid lane. So that should actually annihilate that fort here and put them on pretty even footing with the opponent, who's already on level 12. But it's definitely still one of those moments where you want to see if you can maybe like go for a bit of team fight. The interesting thing about Leap, by the way, is that of course usually we see it as an initiation tool, where you're just trying to initiate during the fight and then you have to follow up damage. And it's definitely what they're going to try and do. But Leap is also going to put you in a spot where you can use it to escape and you hold those coins. So you can even try to play around your opponent a little bit more here. And Edward might have to use that at some point. The stuns are there. He's getting attacked. Jumps in deep for Falstad. The kill against Kerrigan. Sonya is also falling, but it's a second kill as we have Tigers dying. And even the Mighty Gust had to be used, but look at that, the dodge by Tyria. Great play here by him, well done, and he gets the kill against Falstad. Incredibly well played by him here, and that was totally cool to watch. And even the Mighty Gust could not really get him out of position there, so yep, having that sword around is of course quite helpful. So in this case now we have another turn in for them, and they have the coins for sure. Double strike taken, no range increase on the with the Eviscerate. Burning Rage, that's the stuff. We are also seeing now the Giant Killer. Plus, in addition to that, we have finally the Converging Force. So trying to get a little bit of control during these fights too. 13 isn't there yet for the red team. Can they escape? There's the Sanctification again. There's the Emerald Wind. Okay, they needed to use that. The Dragon Laser Drill is on the ground and they are still all escaping. Or are they? Because Leoric is looking for the Entomb again. Leoric wants the Entomb. He's very likely to get it if he wants it, and yep, he does, of course. So there's the Entomb. Sanctification is once again on cooldown, and that means they can't turn around, engage into it, and try to use that to save Brightwing. Mystical Spear now also on level 13, taken by Sonya. We're having down here still a bit of pressure against the bot lane, but 13 versus 13, 8 versus 6 kills. Pretty close actually. But now with a 5 versus 4 advantage on the map, they're attempting to steal the camp away from the opponent, and they're able to do that. There's no holy ground just yet for Tyrael that he can use to just zone them out there. And it's actually at a perfect moment in time because this camp is starting to push, and at this point, nice! I have to give some credit to Yaya. He has some pretty cool moves here. He's oftentimes caught out of position, so he's overdoing it a little bit. But overall, he has some pretty cool moves here. Nice silence combo. I'm liking it a lot, but can they get the kills? So far, they don't. Brightwing is dead. So is Kerrigan. So no, actually, Sonya died. My bad. There's a bit of a bug apparently with the. Actually, this happened once earlier. I actually think there's a bit of a bug that when a hero dies, sometimes it shows the wrong hero name. Failstat flies in, but he's not punished, is able to get the Mighty Gust, and there is the double kill. The blue team turning this into a 3-for-1 trade. Job well done. Falstad maybe a little bit aggressive with it, and it felt for a moment like Sylvanas and also Jaina were both a bit surprised by that move. And when he flew in that aggressively, he still was able to push them back, and that made it worth it there. But we have seen a lot of Falstad in a situation like this just simply die because he went a little bit too deep with it and all of a sudden get punished. Looking at the stats for now, we are still seeing Tigers with 31,000 hero damage taking the top here. Also Oriel with 24,000 heals, topping Brightwing, who is currently at 16,000, but doesn't have Blink Heal, of course. And now the second turn-in. 2 forts, by the way, already down, taken apart by the red team. So right now the Royals actually not doing too badly. We are seeing at the top lane, on the other hand, now the barrage hitting full force. And there is even the entire rest of the team there. So they could actually just like jump in and try to reduce the hit points a bit of the fort, so that less cannonballs are wasted on it. But they are instead attempting to go for the boss here. And that is a pretty safe move considering that Jaina is on the bot lane right now. 16 isn't there, so no holy ground yet. Sonya has fallen. No, she hasn't. Okay, this is really getting a little bit weird. Like, nobody died, but we actually get like a notification that she has fallen. Like, she didn't. Well, that was a bit odd. Not quite sure what exactly that was about, but I was freaking out. I was just like, what's happening? Did you just jump in? That's the 5 versus 5. Now boss was abandoned for a second. Now it's still taken. They have Emerald Leap and also the Leap. I wouldn't go for this. This is going to get really, really nasty. That Emerald win can be a game changer. But it's 16 versus 15, and therefore an extra talent for them. Tychus is dead, though. Ring of Frost. Kerrigan is about to fall now, too. The boss is still not taken. They are going to steal it away. Sonya is on the point. They take down now Leoric, too. And that's a triple kill. Boss is taken. Bam, here comes the Polymorph, and goodbye, Oriel. She is also eliminated. It's actually like a complete team wipe since we have Falstad taken apart by Sylvanas. And now Sylvanas is pushing together with the boss, and this could not really be worse. The coins are collected by Tyrael, and they are going to go for that first keep. I don't really think that they can go for the core at this point, but taking the keep alone is already such a massive advantage thanks to their Sylvanas. They will get so much value here. Going for core would probably be overdoing it a little bit, but those 16 talents would in theory make it possible to at least get some damage on it, but I highly doubt that they're willing to really risk it. They are far ahead right now, so why would you actually risk that? Yeah, that Falstad kill happened earlier. He's back now, so I'm not sure what's happening with that, guys, but of course he didn't die again here. Oriel is also not dying. Now Kerrigan is dying. That actually is real. So Kerrigan is dead, and Leoric is also eliminated. Leap, and Tychus is down, and that is going to be the end of it. They are able to push it through. The defense not strong enough. Now it's a 5 versus 2 at this point, and they are going to go for the core here. The boss might not be the strongest this early in the game, but it doesn't matter anymore. Double Ring of Frost. The end of Oriel, who's eliminated. This is going to be core. Great play, GG, as the Royals take the lead in the best of 3 series. Game number 2 on Infernal Shrines. We're still at the amateur scene here with heroeslaunch.gg. And guys, it's the Water Dragons against the Royals. And the Water Dragons in the last game, they didn't play their Gazlowe. And what happened? They lost. So, of course, we need that Gazlowe back. No, but just, like, jokes aside. Besides the game trying to troll us with, or me, with random death notifications on screen, we are going into our second game with the Royals actually being ahead in the series. And right now the Water Dragons going straight for a ban on Zagara. Now, we could see that Zul banned out again, that we have actually seen banned a little bit earlier. Zul has seen a couple of nerfs over time in the last couple of patches, so he's not really a must ban anymore, but he's still very strong on the map. So if you don't want to deal with that push presence that he has on the map, then you would still be well advised to ban him out. But if you feel that you can really deal with him and just like take him out in rotations, then getting rid of Sylvanas, for example, might be the better option for you. So Sylvanas is taken out. That is going to make it a little bit more difficult for the Water Dragons to actually snowball. And since the Royals actually had used her in the last game, could have been that the Water Dragons just go for Sylvanas early on. But now the Water Dragons have to make that choice. Do you go for the Zul or don't you? And they go into an Oriel first pick. Now, Oriel is being played actually quite a bit these days, but Oriel as a first pick, that is quite the commitment there. And it leaves Zul open. It leaves a lot of heroes open that you can actually take in this case. So the Royals have like the free reign of what they want to choose here. They can go into a Kerrigan if they want to play the Kerrigan style. The Water Dragons played her a few times. They could go into a Falstad for the global presence. They have an ETC available to them here. So they didn't probably really expect Oriel to be taken there. And that leaves a lot of options for them. But it's also one of those moments where you have like, okay, then how do we play this right now? And actually you can see that at this point. That they are looking at this and they are a bit like, let's think about that for a second. Arthas is being picked. Now Arthas has a lot of presence on the map, but Arthas has a few problems. And that means that disengage is oftentimes difficult for you. So you are heavily relying on either winning the fight with your team or on having a second warrior next to you, because the big problem that you have with Arthas is that once the fight is lost, you're not going to get out of this alive. You are committed. And Arthas Jaina, it's Team Frost. It's Team Frost that we're seeing here right now. So they're going for the full Frost Barrage. Jaina, of course, with the AoE damage on the shrines themselves. Not really the picks that I expected here for number 1 and number 2. And the Water Dragons go for ETC and Kerrigan. And, well, let's be honest. Did we see that coming, or did we see that coming? So right now, ETC Kerrigan already for a mass amount of lockdown. the Oriole behind this, and the only thing that they are lacking is range damage, and this is why I feel the Royals are starting to go and ban range damage out here. So you have to, first of all, answer for yourself the question, what do you actually want to take? They already have a mage, so it's very likely that we're going to see them attempt to go into something like a false set, for example, for a little bit of auto attack damage here. You could ban out a Li Ming. Lunara works well with Oriole too, so that's two heroes that could be banned here. Vala can shine on this map. The new Vala is quite strong and has also a lot of AoE damage, which is of course nice on Infernal Shrines to have for the objective itself. Kel'Thas fills basically the same role, where he's just like attempting to get those living bombs and the flame strikes in. So on those close quarter fights, he can make a huge difference. But they ban False Start instead, which is surprising and already indicates that they have a bit of a different idea here. I'm wondering if we could maybe even see something like a Reyna, because you have an Arthur, so you can really capitalize on execution as a talent. There's other heroes that have that, of course, too. I mean, there's still a couple of heroes around that we haven't even seen today. Greymane, for example, is also a hero that you could play. But everything that works with Executioner is, if you have Arthur, is really nice. And if you have a Jaina on top of that too, there's so many slows there. You could go into Lunara, for example, and go for the unfair advantage, which is going to give you value. Tyrael now taken away, first of all. Well, it's great if you have an ETC Karrigan against you to use that sanctification on the ground. The Royals played with Tyrael already, so why not ban him out in this case? I actually think it's a good decision. But right now, we're going to see the Royals with a bit more damage. And I personally would say that Lunara or any kind of Executioner hero is your friend here with this setup. And Executioner hero basically leads us back to that Reyna play. We could see that here. And Chen, what? Alright, Chen is a very disruptive force, there's no doubt about that. Once he gets his going, there's a lot of party. And keep in mind, Oriole doesn't have a cleanse. Oriole does not have a cleanse, and Chen is a hero that can be great in that setup. But let's see how they play this. What's going to be the next range damage dealer? I would still like someone that can capitalize on the slows. That would be quite nice here. So let's see who they're going to draft in this case. They go for the Tychus. I'm not quite sure if I agree with that Tychus, to be honest with you. I really feel like they had heroes that can dish out so much more damage with it. With a Relentless Leader change, I really believe you could play a Reyna here, put that in on level 4 and let like Focus Attack go, and then have later on not only Giant Killer, but also instead head straight into that Executioner. Damage output is pretty insane, and you have a chain on an Arthur's to peel for you if Karrigan jumps in, because of course you are going to be a target. So I feel that might have been the better option for them here. But they go for the Tychus instead, so they have the drill. That is actually quite nice. Water Dragons with the Kel'Thas here, first of all. I like that. And now I just want to see what's going to be... I mean, the Kel'Thas is a great choice for them. I actually could have seen that banned out by the Royals. They decided in favor of Falstad instead. Which I still think is a bit odd, because I believe Falstad would have also been a good pick for them. But the Water Dragons, I would actually say that right now, that Vala is, again, very handy. They haven't really shown Vala yet. I don't know if they play her. Like, she is with a big change as a hero that is just now making her way into the meta again. But Vala would be quite nice to have even more AoE. She has decent damage, but I believe they are probably going to go for something different here. And Li Ming is another cooldown-based hero. You usually don't go for a double mage. We see it occasionally, but it's not really the norm. So I would leave a potential Lunara here, which has the problem that Chen is going to jump on Lunara like 6 days to Sunday. Both of these heroes actually have a bit of a problem with Chen going in for the barrel. So that is an issue. But if Lunara goes for the leaping strike instead, she has at least options where she can attempt to escape. They play the Gazlo again. I did not think that would happen, but I am loving it. They go back to the roots. They play the Gazlo. Okay, this is beautiful. When I saw the map, I thought, okay, maybe they go for Gazlo again. But then I was just like, nah, this is not gonna happen. And there we have him, the Goblin Tinker. And yes, I know with the Heroes Law, a lot of people are like, Khaldor, he's not a Tinker. Warcraft 3 says he is, so shush. Brightwing against the Karrigan again. I like that, but boys and girls, we're in for a treat again. More Gazlo action as the Water Dragons are revealing the last pick again, going up against the Royals here. So yeah, game number 2 here at heroeslaunch.gg. Game number 2, everybody. We have the Water Dragons going up against the Royals. The Royals already in the lead, but the Water Dragons, they have their secret weapon. It is Gazlo. Gazlo played by Octani again. Pumax on his Carrigan. He basically has a subscription on that hero. Swagmaster 69 on the Oriole. Rabata on Kel'Thas. And Nemo Hostem on ETC. Haft on Tychus for the Royals. We have Andresh on Brightwing. Edward on Arthurs. Atyesta on Chen. And Yayak on Jaina. And as said before, there is currently no cleanse available. Since there's an Oriole being played, cleanse is not an option, so that's a bit of an issue once that Chen starts to go for that Wandering Kek and is trying to isolate a target. Machine gun build for Jaina so far. The Frost Presence taken by Arthurs, who we are seeing for the first time here today. And the Convection for Kel'Thas himself, whereas Gazlo went again for the Break It Down. So there is actually like that quest on level 4 that we're most likely going to see by Gazlo again. I mean, Octani has played Gazlo already once before today on Brex's Holdout, and he was able to win that game with his team. So he's going to try and get that turret edge again. In the late game, Gazlo in particular can do those turrets just be absolutely a massive nuisance with the setup that he has there. And already they're trying to just get a bit more pressure on those lanes set up. Carrigan with the blades, Torrent, the sharpened blades on the level 1 talent for the increased damage. Gazlo already getting a little bit of damage against the lanes. Yeah, he's pretty decent with that push here. The top lane, interestingly enough, by the way, is not where we're seeing Chen. It is a battle between ETC and Tychus. Down here, on the other hand, Octani is getting attacked, but still able to get away as Arthurs is all of a sudden locking him down. And this should be the end. No, yes. Good kill by Jaina. Well done. Jaina with a good kill here, but they're not done yet. They actually eliminate Kel'Thas as well. Kel'Thas is down. Well done here. And that's a 2-0 already in favor of the Royals. A very aggressive style that they're playing with this, and Brightwing jumping in to help out too with the polymorphs, so that actually worked out for them quite nicely. The Shrine is active, and I mean right now the problem that they're going to face is that Gazlo is going to get a bit momentum later on when his turrets do more damage, have also that AoE, but at this point he probably doesn't really add too much on those Shrine fights themselves, so he's most likely going to just try and get some value on the lanes. They're having the first Shrine already being fought over, and Gazlo is actually part of that fight. He's already in there. Octani also the one that Oriole is currently relying on when it comes to the damage. And don't be fooled here. Gazlo actually does a whole lot of damage, even though mostly it's random damage against single heroes that oftentimes doesn't really force anything. But for Oriole, that doesn't matter. She gets that energy either way. So that is something what we're going to see pretty soon coming into play here. But for now, they're still fighting over it. And level 4 is ready for both of the teams, with the talents being available. And that means for Gazlo, the Clockwork Steam Fist. So again, the potential cooldown reduction if you complete the quest, and that's what they're looking for. Atyesta on his Chen is being very annoying already, it is. And the kill against Carrigan. Carrigan is down, and they eliminate ETC too. The Royals are in full force. They lose Jaina though. They lose Jaina, but Oriole is completely isolated from the rest of the team, and she's also eliminated. Great play here again by the Royals, and they are dictating the pace of the game at this point. We're seeing amplified healing for Chen with Brightwing. That's a great talent to take. That passive heal is just increased even more. The Regeneration Master is going to help Chen too. Gazlo is still trying to make a difference here, but right now he just can't compete with all the AoE damage that we have from heroes like Jaina, and of course Arthur's moving in here as well. But the rest of the team is already back. The death timers are still very, very low, and they are still fighting for that first Punisher. They're actually sliding in with ETC, attempting to get the kill against Arthur's. That doesn't happen. Octani moving away. Nice move also by Oriole, pushing the target away, but Carrigan was therefore very much alone and is now down. Yayak again with that kill potential against Ravatar. ETC is dying. 7 kills against 1. Octani on the run. Haft is trying to isolate get that kill, but he doesn't. The Punisher, on the other hand, is taken, and this is just getting absolutely brutal. But still, keep in mind, there are a couple of quest talents. The Gazlo comp should gain a bit momentum later on in the game. But if, of course, the game continues at this pace, then the late game is never going to be a solid option for the Water Dragons. They nearly have that Convection talent already come through. I mean, it's more than 50% of the quest talent completed. So as long as he doesn't really have problems completing that, they will be in a situation in which they can finally get some extra damage in these situations, just poke a bit more. But they're already far behind in experience. This is not only a talent leader we're seeing here. This is really 2 levels that the Royals are currently leading. So Yeah, at this point we're having cleanse, we're seeing the concussion grenade taken. That cleanse of course also going to be important against the Kerrigan. And we have in the same time here also now the Icebound Fortitude for Arthas. Trying to stay alive a little bit longer, the Brewmaster balance, machine gun build as pointed out earlier. But yeah, the blue team is definitely on the back foot right now. I mean, there's no doubt about that. 7 kills against 1, that's a pretty solid statement that we have right there, considering. We also have the concussion grenade. You talked about that for a moment. But the red team is going to try and just go for level 10 right now. If the Royals reach their heroic ability in time for the next shrine, that would of course be absolutely fantastic for them. We're still seeing that poke happening up to the top lane. Camps were taken a bit earlier. So with that, we are seeing Octani and his boys trying to at least push some structures down. That would help to close the gap in experience between the two teams and help them to get to 10 a bit closer. Also with the level 7 talent, they have now at least that AoE damage. And that actually helps with the wave clear. And it also is going to help later on when we're starting up with those shrines again. So it's definitely one of those things where Khaldor is starting to gain some momentum for the team. Also the burned flesh right now. Another talent that is going to help Karthus them later on to get the damage out as well. Down to the bottom of the map, we're having at the same time still Ravatar and Nemohosten. They're rotating a bit between bot and mid lane and are trying to get the value out there. Also, quest talent, of course, again for Oriel with the increasing clarity, not going for the swift sweep. And we have the Energized Cord now taken too. But the situation that I've been alluding to a bit earlier is now about to happen. Level 10 dropping with the Shrine activating. And that is an issue. Yes, the pressure against the lane is there, and they have at least a bit of experience, but they're still 1.5 levels up, 2 levels behind. Syndragosa, Wandering Keg with a lack of a cleanse, and this is just getting nasty. Right now, there is basically a secured kill if you get a good keg off. And it's not really a big problem in these situations. So of course ETC and also Kalthas are currently busy in the middle and the bot lane because they realize they can't do anything about the top. Gazlo can set up a few of those turrets before the Punisher jumps in and just like prepare the defense, but in the end it's all about getting level 10 right now so that you have at least a chance to fight. Kalthas is trying to get his stacks together. I think this is a really shitty idea, and that's the reason why. I mean, I have no idea what Ravatar was thinking, but that was never gonna work. And he just lost all his stacks. Dude, like, what has he been smoking? You're up against a Syndragosa, you're up against a Chen, and you think you can move in and poke? Yeah. That was greed, and that did not work out at all. Now they have the problem that Kalthus is actually not going to complete his quest talent for a long time. And he could have. If he just stayed here and poked a little bit with the safety of the fort there. Or at least having more safety than before. And maybe a few allies around to help him out. So right now, Gazlo, is he going to go into the Robo-Goblin again? Yes, he is. But they are already slowed down thanks to the Syndragosa. He has the engage. Kerrigan gets healed. ETC Mosh Pit. Kerrigan jumping in. Gets Aegis. Kerrigan gets Aegis as she jumps in. Oh, that is hurtful. The fort is down. Gazlo has eliminated a fort at the bot lane at least, so he gets a bit of counter value for his team. He's also starting to really complete that quest talent on level 4. With the Robo-Goblin, he is now in a position where he can at least... He actually tries to go for the keep, doesn't he? He's trying to actually just like go for a value and maybe get that keep. Up at the top lane, isolation against Kerrigan thanks to the CAC, but they are still pushing. The Punisher is down. As long as they don't TP back, Gazlo is getting value, and they're trying to TP right now. Already Tychus is moving, but this wall is about to fall. The first tower is down, the gate is also eliminated, and yes, Gazlo is moving back since he wanted to be safe, was also starting to run out of mana, but still, they are closing the gap. It's 10 kills against 1, and we are still in a situation in which both of the teams have eliminated one fort and the wall has fallen. Gazlo counter push is too strong. It's honestly too strong. With that Robo-Goblin, it's just so much damage. You can't leave him alone on the lane. Somebody had to move back, and well, the Royals did make a mistake by not sending one of their heroes back. All of a sudden, they lost the edge in experience. They're still slightly ahead, but just look at the difference here. This is a third of a level. Level 13 is there, and now we have that's the stuff. We're seeing enough to share. We're having also the Stormfront taken, but overall, the blue team is back to business. I mean, right now, that's one of those situations where you have. Oh, apparently a computer of one of the guys is down. Okay, that seems to be a problem that happened a little bit earlier as is. But this is getting a bit nasty. Kalthas, by the way, is starting to get his convection back. I have to stress it again. I really think that if he would have played it safer and would have been in a spot where he just didn't suicide into the squad here and had that quest talent already completed, he could have had a much bigger influence in this game already. With Kalthas actually completing the quest talent, Oriel is going to get even more value, of course, out of hers as well. He still has the top damage, but just imagine that, of course, with a quest talent completed. Once again, they're moving in. If Ravattar can complete it now, that would be great. And he is actually about to. I mean, he's really close to completing that time. So once that he has it, it's great. But the keg is up. So if Kalthas is now getting a bit too greedy and moves too far out, Artista might be able to jump in and isolate him. Overall, though, as I said, that Gazlo comp is starting to get a little bit of momentum for themselves here. And this is the shrine that just now got activated. So at this point, we have 30 versus 30 talents. And here again, oh, that was unfortunate. Keg is down. That was a big cooldown to burn here. Keg should be nearly a guaranteed kill at this point. Great dodge, but Keg actually down is a problem. And now on 13, the turret storage is there, where you have even more turrets that you can spam out. Look at this, they're not even going for the shrine. They're just sieging up in the mid lane here because they know they can. The double strike now also on the side of Kerrigan. Kalthas with a Pyromaniac, as long as he can just like start to poke from the backline here against Chen, for example, who's just sitting there like a sitting duck with his... Heck, they can get those stacks together, and they're trying to. He should have used it there. Use it against the Chen. Get that guaranteed stack that you have every time. Once again, yeah, Phoenix is out there, sieging up in the mid lane here. Nice hit this time, and he is getting close. Ravattar is getting so close to get that quest talent completed, and the extra damage is just so amazing for them. Again, a hit against Shen. Now they're coming from the top. Look how Ravattar is positioning himself in the back, and he has to. Gazlo is down on the other hand. Gazlo is down. Syndragosa, Ring of Frost. Ravattar, what about a cooldown? Can he get that completed? Look at Yagia going for him. EDC's down. Everybody's dying. They're isolated, and Kalthas dies again and loses everything. Oh, this really falls with Kalthas not being able to complete his quest talent, and it's just gonna get more difficult for him to do that. They need that extra damage. If you have the extra 100 damage, this is just absolutely amazing. I mean, it's not only about the 100 extra damage, it's also the damage that you build up. So now he loses damage on this, and this is getting really tricky for them because, again, the Royals are on the forward. They have 14 kills against 1. They are going to get another Punisher. They have such a massive fleet. You can't actually win this anymore there. So Octani is taking camps now instead because he realizes this is not going to work. The flank was good, and they take Gazlo down. And that was the one thing that they really had to do. So once more, we have them waiting, actually, even a little bit. They have heroes sending them back so that they can get the mana up on Edward's Arthurs and getting also like the Jaina in now. They give up the position on the shrine for a moment, but they can easily poke. It's only 4 that we're talking about, so they can make that happen. Top lane, on the other hand, is pushing. There's that Punisher. Oriel again going straight for that, for the Crystal Aegis, by the way. Up at the top lane, this camp is going to get value, but the Punisher is so close that he starts jumping in. The wall is already destroyed, so in this case, that at least doesn't matter. Ravattar needs to make sure that he gets those stacks. They are going for it again, and yeah, there's the flank from behind. Before level 16 is there, they're trying to go in, but the Punisher jumps in. Kerrigan! Kerrigan is dead. This looks like the beginning of the end. Once more Ravattar, he jumps straight on Kalthas. He has the pressure point at this moment. Also another Syndragosa. Kalthas down, Gazlo down. Oh my god. ETC is falling, and this is just, this is brutal. 18 kills against 1, 16 versus 14. They are starting to jump in, and they are taking the wall down. I mean, there's nearly no resistance. Oriel is there. Yeah, she's going to push that back up. Huh? That's not going to happen. Look at Artiesta. He actually has his keg up. He has his keg, and he has pressure point. If that Oriel gets just a little bit too far forward, she is dead. So is the Kerrigan. Artiesta can just like wait for a keg. There is the jump. Nope. Doesn't go for it. Pressure point on 16. That's what you need. Arthur's, by the way. Remorseless Winter, Frigid Winds. I think Chen could have even gone more aggressive here and go straight in and try and just barrel one away, but with currently Tigers at the top lane, deep pushing, I don't really think they wanted to do that. The fort has fallen at least, but now it's 17, nearly 18 versus 15. The kill count is just brutal. 18 versus 1. Who's that feeder, by the way, on the red team? Who is that feeder? Let me have a look. It's Chen. Oh, of course it's Chen. 21,000 damage on Chen, just saying, and Gazlo is dead again. Chen barreling Kel'Thas away. ETC with a mosh pit, nice, but it's not enough. Double kill, it's a triple kill, it's a quad kill, and this is gonna make it a team wipe. Down they go, one after another, 23 kills against one. The Gas Lord, he disappoints. And here comes Swagmaster. Says like, it's a bit frustrating, to be honest. Dude, I believe you. I believe you. Of course this is frustrating. Look at this. Even the death notifications are not able to catch up with this because there's too many heroes dying too fast. It's a 2-0 victory. Gaslord not successful in the second game here. The GG is called as we are seeing the Royals taking the second game. A 2-0 victory here in the semi-final as they advance to the next round. Congratulations. Well played.